Okay, so we're over at 114 Pear Street in Olympia, and I'm here with Scott Taylor, who is one of the current residents of the place. He's also the lead singer and guitarist from the Hardway band here in Olympia. And Scott's graciously allowed us to take a little look at an apartment that Kurt lived in for a couple years, actually one of his most creative periods of his career. First he lived in this apartment here, which is apartment 2, kind of in the front for a brief period of time. And then he gravitated to this back apartment over here when it opened up. It's a little bit bigger. This number 2 is a studio, and Scott's apartment that he lives in now back here is a one-bedroom, so it had a little bit more space. Kurt lived here with a woman named Tracy Miranda, who was his girlfriend, and she was pretty much supporting him back in those days. You see, obviously Scott's a musician. He's got a John Lennon postcard here, as you can see. And back in those days, the rent was $137 a month, and Tracy was paying for that. Eventually they broke up, and I think Kurt kind of kicked her out, basically. She left, and then he eventually got evicted. He came back from LA. I believe they were doing some promotional stuff for Nevermind, which was just about to come out, and he found his stuff basically sitting on the curb. I think Tracy managed to get some of his amps and guitars and stuff like that out of there, but kind of a humbling experience for him, to say the least. And his animals and whatnot. But basically, he ended up losing some of his stuff. But I just want to focus in on a couple little things here. We've got a cool Kurt Cobain poster here.
That picture was taken right outside this window.
It was taken right outside this window, this one? That's cool. And then there's one other thing I want to show you guys here is a photo of Nirvana playing at Evergreen State College, which is right near here, in January of 1991. It's a Nirvana Gulf War protest concert. Was that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And can we show this other area? Or?
Yeah, you can see it here.
Okay. And so this is the bedroom area,
which is kind of a little tomb. It's
perfect. It's nice and dark though, so that's what you want basically for sleeping, right?
Well, actually, and there's a recent documentary that came out called Punk Singer that's about Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill, and one of the first sequences in the film, she talks about the night that her and Kurt and Toby and Dave Grohl were hanging out and were totally wasted, and that I think it was on this one, I'm pretty sure it was on this, I know it was in this room, and in the film they actually show it where it was scrawled in marker, Kurt smells like Teen Spirit, and he didn't know what she meant. He didn't, a lot of people heard that first. Some thought you wrote a song about the deodorant, but it was a joke because I guess Toby wore that deodorant and she was being with him because they were together at the time.
But I think as a musician living in the apartment where Kurt wrote a lot of his most memorable songs is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's kind of like, when people walk, by here and they'll kind of take a gander or whatever, it reminds me of the first time that I ever went to New York, which was about 1989, and I had to go to the Dakota building, where John Lennon lived and died, and of course I got my pictures taken standing in the archway there and all that, so I think it must be like that for people, but it's just kind of weird actually to be in there, yeah, for sure.